Vance gave his take on the status of the Ukraine war. Let's listen to that too.
What I would say to both the Russians and the Ukrainians is, we're talking about haggling at this point over a few square kilometers of territory in one direction or another. Is that worth losing hundreds of thousands of additional Russian and Ukrainian young men? Is that worth an additional months or even years of higher energy prices and economic devastation? We think the answer is clearly no, but it takes, two to tango.
I just like the way in which he frames up the war just continues to be such an affront and an outrage.
It's an affront and an outrage because the war is not about a few kilometers. The war is about whether Ukraine gets to exist as a nation. And the Russians have, and I've said this before, I'm probably on your program, the Russians have never said they want a ceasefire. They have never given up their main war aim, which remains the conquest of all of Ukraine or the control of all of Ukraine. They've never conceded that Zelensky is the legitimate leader of Ukraine. None of this has ever happened. And the Ukrainians have been continually pressured by the Trump administration to give up territory to Russia. And the Ukrainians keep saying, what will we get in return? How do we know if we give up territory, the war will end? And the answer is they don't. There's nothing. No one has given them anything. And the territory they're being asked to give up is heavily fortified territory. This is like fortress towns that have been protected and fought over for years and years, places where Ukrainians live. So it's not, you're not just giving up territory, you're giving up, a protective zone. If you gave it up, you would then enable the Russians to move further. And it's as if I suppose it's because they don't want to understand it. What they want to do is they want a quick business deal between the United States and Russia, and they want to move on, and the war is in their way. And so they keep talking about it like it's some trivial problem that, Zelensky's just blocking it. And if he would just step out of the way, we could solve it. But it's just a profound kind of arrogance and ignorance and hubris wrapped into one.